You got Leon D here, and we're going to talk about food. I'm not an expert on anything to do with food, but I've been around a long time, and I am a professional barbecuologist. I know food. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I know a lot of things that you may not like. That's the intro for Leon D. Let's get it on. This is your boy DJ Leon D. By every other video, I tell you places that cities and countries I've eaten at, and what the food's like, and what you can and can't expect, and how to save your money by not ordering certain things. I'm not, a fancy food eater. I am a comfort food eater. That's why my favorite food is smoked food. And when I say smoked, I don't mean cooked. I mean cooked on a smoker. Okay, but let me tell you, I talk about these other cities and countries, but let me tell you a place, probably the worst in the world that I've ever lived or ever visited and eaten their food. Let me tell you about this place. I lived in the United Kingdom for 6 years, and let me tell you something. They can't cook. They can't. They don't make anything good. They really don't make anything good. And yet, when I get TV shows like the Cooking Channel, the Food Network, I look at these, and they have these British guys like Gordon Ramsay, Robert Irvine. They have all these British people as the star of their networks cooking food. Where in the hell are these folks when I lived in the UK? And I would go to London, some of the best restaurants in the world. I went all over the UK. Their food just sucks. I don't know. I don't know how. They love pies. Their idea of a pie ain't me and your idea of a pie. They would put squash in a pie. They would put a lot of meat in a pie. Not a pie, just meat pies. Pie used to get some kind of broth and vegetables and meat in it. No, 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 no. Not in the UK. And I can tell you why they can't cook. Because they learn from people who can't cook. When they bake, it's nasty. Some of the stuff they put in, minced meat and all this, which is just fine chicken or fine beef or whatever, nobody wants it in a damn pie. They can't cook and they don't know it. But I'm going to tell you, that's not true. Now they know it. When I was there back in the 90s and the 2000s and 2020, they hadn't yet discovered that they couldn't cook. But they were small people size-wise when I lived there. And when I go back and visit, they getting fat as hell. They are fat as Americans. And I can tell you why they're fat as Americans. They now eating American fast food. Everywhere I went is McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, Taco Bell, Starbucks, whatever. And everybody knows that Americans eat the most unhealthiest food in the world. And we take pride in it. We eat steroids, and if you say you never had steroids, that's because you never eaten American food. And if you're in America, some point you ate American food. But people in the UK, they eat haggis. Who wants to eat, beef guts or intestines and all that? I mean, they eat anything. Now, the most famous food they got in the United Kingdom, in England, in Scotland, and Wales, and all those places, and even Ireland got. Well, their food sucks too. They eat a lot of ground-based vegetables. When I say ground-based, I mean underneath the ground. A potato is grown underneath the surface. They eat a lot of that kind of stuff. Now, their most famous thing, like I was gonna say, that they export and cook is fish and chips. Fish and French fries, fish and chips. Who in the hell cannot cook something that you put in grease for a minute, and when it's done, it rises to the top? Anybody can cook that. And plus, you own an island. You own an island, so getting fish shouldn't be that damn difficult because you're on an island. Now, saying that, getting fish, it seems like when you're over there, that's the only thing out of the ocean to eat is haddock or cod. Now, when I travel the ocean and go to the beaches and go to these islands in the Caribbean. What about all those other things in the sea? For instance, like a crab, or bluefin tuna. What about, why the Brits don't have that kind of stuff? Why they have none of that? That just baffles the hell out of me. I'm thinking all this other good stuff in the sea, and all you guys get is the bottom feeder. It's like going down south. When you order fish, some reason people in the South think that all you want is catfish. Catfish is one of the cheapest and worst tasting fish in the world. It is in a group called bottom feeders. Bottom feeders. They get them out of lakes and stuff. Do you know what a bottom feeder is? It's the fish that eats what's on the bottom of the damn lake or ocean. Not ocean, because you don't see catfish in the ocean. But in the lakes and the rivers, it's eating all that bottom stuff. I like to eat fish that eat other fish. People say, you don't eat a lot of seafood. Oh, I like certain seafood. I like seafood that eat seafood. It's kind of like, I like animals that graze. That's me. But when you go over there, you get kind of upset because you go to your restaurants and all your pubs and all your places to eat at, and they just don't have great food. Either that or just maybe the whole country just got bad cooks. I've seen that before too. Maybe the entire country got bad cooks, because you walk into a pub, you go there, you get a beer, this guy pulls you a pint of beer, and he's the same guy in the kitchen making food for you. It's kind of like these KFCs and these gas stations and these Dunkin' Donuts. The same guy back there cooking you food at KFC is next door. Actually, not even next door. He's in the same place making a McDonald's or a Burger King burger for you. And then if you're in New Jersey or Oregon, he's pumping your gas for you. No, they don't have 3 or 4 employees with unique skills doing different things. No. They got Ahab or they got Rajiv. They got one person doing everything. He's probably the owner too, but they have one person doing everything. So when you go to Burger King, at one of these all-in-one joints, they have them down south everywhere. A KFC, a Dunkin' Donuts, or a Burger King, and a gas station. Go to Burger King, order a burger, and see how long it takes. How long it takes depends on how long it takes for him to finish pumping gas in your car. And you don't see them with napkins and all the other stuff. But back to the UK, United Kingdom. Back to the Brits. I don't know why they can't cook. Because when they come to America, they go berserk. Go to New York City, or I don't see a lot of British going out west, but I see them on the East Coast everywhere. And they love our chain restaurants. I go to McDonald's only when there's no other option. I'd rather go to Cracker Barrel where I can get vegetables with a meal for almost the same amount of money, because fast food is not cheap anymore. Those days are gone. There's no $5 fast food. If you do, 50% of your meal is guaranteed to be grease. You're not getting the best cut of meat. 50% is guaranteed to be grease. So and that could be why they like it, because fish and chips, the worst sight in the world is to get fish and chips. They wrap it in newspaper in a lot of places. Look at that newspaper about 3 minutes after you buy it. 3 minutes after you buy it, look at the newspaper. It is ridiculous how much grease is there. And everybody knows French fries, if you take it out and you let it set for a minute, you know how much grease French fries generate. But when you go to England, they are fast food everywhere. You can't find a decent pub. The best thing that I had when I was in England, the best thing I had was what they call Yorkshire pudding. It's not really a pudding. It is someone discovered that you can take a bread or dough, and inside the dough you can put vegetables, you put some beef, you can put meat into it, and it's kind of like a huge pot pie with a nice crust to it. Not the cheap pot pies, you go and you buy in Giant or you buy in some HEB or some store, some grocery store. No, they do a very good job because they put gravy on top. You can have it with or without gravy, but they do a real good job. But you can only get it in certain parts of the country. A lot of places know that that's a very good meal. It fills you up. So now you see it in more places in the country than you did when I lived there. But Yorkshire pudding is by far the best thing you're going to get over there. And you get it with some, the other thing they do very good, not to be all negative, they do oven roasted potatoes as good as anybody in the world. They use small potatoes. They put them in a hot fire in some, not an oven, but kind of like a piece of brick oven for a couple minutes. Those are good. But, and the funny thing is, when you leave England, now remember the United Kingdom is like 4 different countries. You got Scotland, you got Wales, you got Northern Ireland, and you got England. And here's the thing. I thought the food in England was real bad. It's worse when you go to other places on that island. And God knows Scotland's got terrible food. But people don't notice this. Scotland got terrible food because where they just came from had bad food. You go from England to Scotland, you're like, holy crap, I thought England was terrible. Scotland's even worse. And in Wales, you eat just to survive. So the whole time I was in England, I was lucky that I could buy a lot of American products. You pay money for it, but at least I can have a decent meal. I can have something I like, and I can cook a meal with vegetables, with other things. And when I said, here go dessert, it was a dessert. I don't want a dessert that's got squash in the middle or cranberries or chestnuts. No. I want something with sugar. That, to me, a dessert is sweet. Something with sugar. And they didn't eat a lot of, now they ate vegetables, but not a lot of fruits. Because if they couldn't grow them, they just didn't serve them to you. They just didn't give them to you at all. So the takeaway is, I kind of ate like a camel when I was there. A camel got 2 humps loaded with food. I ate a lot of stuff when I was at home, no matter where I went. So I was good and full for at least 4 or 5 hours, maybe 6 hours. I kind of refused to eat if I wasn't at home, because I knew that whatever I put in my body is, if it's nasty going in, it's nasty coming out. Nasty equal nasty. Whatever you eat ain't gonna taste better coming out. So that's just how life works. That's how your body works. And sometimes you go in a public bathroom, you're like, what the hell? But then you gotta go look at the dishes they're eating and say, okay, I should have expected that. So out of every place, I've been to probably 100 countries in my life. Out of every place I ever lived in the modern world. Now, I got some places that I went to in Eastern Europe. They worse than England, because they eat a lot of water-based stuff. When I say that, they eat a lot of soups. You got to go dig for the meat. In some places I went to, they'll advertise this got meat in it, but you really got to go dig for it. But England, places I lived there for a long period of time, I just suffered. And then I would come back here to the States to visit my parents or relatives or whatever have you. And man, I found myself just gaining weight because I'm trying to make up for the time I couldn't have this kind of food. They eat a lot of nasty stuff, and it doesn't bother them. But at the same time, I tell people this all the time. If you got a drunk and you feed a drunk, nothing tastes bad to a drunk. They have pubs, so they're drinking beer all day. Well, I wasn't that way. I'm not even a beer drinker. But I guess that just ruins your palate to a point where you don't care. And some people eat. Now, I'm explaining something to you. You got one or two types of people when it comes to food. Some people eat to refill. They want to just refill. They really don't care what they eat. They don't, they don't have a certain amount in their, in their mind, because they're not food connoisseurs. I am a comfort food connoisseur. I am a barbecueologist who likes good comfort food. So the other type of people are people who want to taste every spoonful and see what it tastes like. It's the same way when I look at I look at people, when I went to Turkey and other places, they cook the food, then they season the food. That to me was just so strange. It was so odd. When I saw that, I'm like, what the hell? But that's how they grew up. And I'm thinking to myself, and so when I had a couple of Turkish friends over to the house, they were telling me how great the food was. And they had, and yet it was Turkish beef. It was the same stuff they had there. Turkish lamb, nothing, it wasn't anything important. I just seasoned it and cooked the seasoning into the food. They cook, it's kind of like how people do salt. You go down south and you go to Midwest, you can put a plate of food in front of somebody, they immediately picks up the salt. All my cousins do it. How much damn salt do you need, and how do you know you need salt without tasting it? My cousin and them would just put a lot of salt and then taste the food. And I'm thinking, to myself, that's why y'all weigh 500 pounds. I mean, until the doctor tells them you're gonna die, they got some habits that blows you away. These habits just blow you away. So when you get to the UK, they don't have salt and pepper shakers on your desk. On your table. Nope. And that could be why the food's nasty. Because some things salt can hide very, very well. Salt and pepper can hide a lot of things. But yet, salt and pepper are the two most used seasonings in the world. They are the two most used seasonings in the world. Why would you not have that for people who want to hide that bad, nasty tasting food? Let me try and hide it. I done paid for it. I can't give it back. And so when I used to go all over the United Kingdom, I ate food just to refuel. That's bad, and I don't like doing that. You wait 40 minutes to get a plate, because at that time they cooked a lot of stuff while you're waiting and stuff. But my whole thing was, I got to refuel, because I'm not going to enjoy this if I expect mentally this to be a meal, because it's not going to be that. It's not going to be that. So I'm not expecting that either. So that is the place that in the Western world, I had the nastiest food. And yet when you drive around, you see lamb, you see cows, you see pigs. It looks like they're all on diets. Now, the reason they look like they're all on a diet, they all are naturally fed, which is a great thing. But damn, get those cows some more hay. Get those lambs some more grass. Nope. When they graze them, there is no grass where they're at. They just don't eat. Now, I'm not saying do like America do, where we give them a lot of steroids. We pump them up so we can, have a cow born on the 1st of the month, on the 8th of the month. They weigh 500 pounds, and we're slaughtering it and selling it and saying, oh, he goes a tender cow. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying take them to a place where there is grass so they can graze and not look like they're starving when you see them. Hell, when you drive down the M1 or the A1 and you see all these cows and all these, they looking at you like, if you eat me, you're going to starve. They looking at you like, don't even think about coming over here, because you're hungry, I'm hungry as well. Well, American cows look like, I'm tired of eating. I ate a lot today. I'm stuffed. These cows never get stuffed. That could be why they don't have buffalo over there, because a buffalo eats 1/3 of his weight every damn day. A buffalo will starve in the UK. They ain't know in hell they gonna survive, because it ain't enough grass. So that's your boy Leon D, and that's this episode. I'll get back with you in a few. Peace.